Hello everyone, welcome back to the Growth Academy, and today we're going to talk about how to create an online business and how to become an influencer. And I have here with me Marina Barayeva from marinabarayeva.com. Welcome to the show, Marina.
Hi, Alessandra. It's so great to have you here,
It's
be
great.
on your show.
It's great to have you here. So, for the people who don't know you, you are an international photographer, you are a speaker, you have your own podcast, but how did you create this entire system? How did you start?
Well, it started a long time ago in Russia. I was working there. I quit my job in 2008 to go to work and travel program to the US. And when I came back, I could not find any job because that was the year of the financial crisis. So that time I became full-time web designer and I worked with my computer for several years. And because I could live anywhere, I tried to go to China because it was kind of adventure for me, like China. I was in the US, Europe seems similar, but China was something different. It was a challenge for me. So I went there to check how it is there, and then I came back home and I thought, well, before I had nothing to do, now I have even more nothing to do. So I moved to China completely in 2011. So in 2010 I was there the first time, and in 2011 I just moved there. And I gave myself a challenge. If I can speak Chinese language within half of the year, I can do anything. It was so exciting for me. And I learned it 7 months, and I could get it to the intermediate level. So that was a big encouragement for me. And that time, there was a peak of my career where I thought, what should I do? Should I stay with my computer and be a good web designer, best web designer maybe in my industry? Because I was good already enough. I earned more money than my people the people in my hometown. Or I should change my career. And I did modeling, I did photography as a hobby, I did acting, and I decided to change my career completely and became a full-time photographer. I wanted to start my photography business, and then it was tough because as many of us starting out, you try to sell everything to everyone, and in the end of the day, you don't have clients. So that was very difficult for me to sell my work and learn. But I was growing there, and there was a time when one of my friends told me, you know what? When I look at your work, you look for the acceptance and appreciations. But in fact, it's about the experience you give to people. It's not only about the quality of your work, but your relationship with them, your communication. And when you understand that you sell experience, not exactly your work, you'll make it as a business. It was with me for some time, for a few years, and then I had a photo shoot with a girl, and she looked at the pictures and she was almost crying. She was like, I never saw myself so beautiful. As the first time, I really feel that I'm beautiful. And that was so big change. I'm like, wow, this is what it means to create an experience for people. It wasn't that fancy picture, but it's how she felt there. And then I started to specializing in glamour, fashion style glamour portraits and professional portraits. And then it finally grew as a business. Because before I made some money, but I was here and there, and that was very difficult. Till you niche down to specific area, you're like one of many photographers or any specialists or any professionals, any other entrepreneurs. But when you actually pick the niche, something you like, and that experience that you can create for people, then you can grow it. So I've been in photography for more than 8 years, and I got awards. I was published in the magazines. I got different events. I had workshops here in China. I had workshops in Miami, and that was really exciting journey. But I thought how I can help my people more. That time, like a few years ago, I had my online photography school, which was good for several years. And then I closed it because I live mostly abroad and I focus on Russian speaking people. But I like this idea, like helping people not only through photography, but somehow give them like workshops, classes, or whatever. So 1.5 years ago, I started my podcast, Marketing for Creatives, as an idea to help my portrayed people who are photograph professionals and executives, to help them grow their business, to help in their marketing. And I'm passionate about marketing. I always think how can I can combine what I like doing and what is useful for people to really grow it to something bigger. And it was fantastic. I interviewed amazing people and people started writing me, wow, that was helpful. I find a client. I got this job. I got this opportunity in my work. It's so interesting when you create something and you see that it really brings value to people and it makes an impact. And if you can make money of this, it's even better.
And everything that you learn about marketing, you said that you are really passionate about marketing. Everything you learned, did you learn it by yourself, or did you do any course, or did you have any mentor? How did you do it?
Well, usually I have a rule. If I want to learn something, I find the best person or like one of the best person in the industry, someone who resonates with me, or maybe we have similar audience or similar services, something which we have in common, and I just go all in. Like I learned selling from one of the photographers and Brian Tracy, and then some marketing from Perry Marshall. And then it just like depending on what I need. Actually, like when I started the podcast, I just accumulated what I've done before, and I
Mm-hmm.
find the person who I want to interview has interesting topic, and I know my audience asks these questions. I have these questions, and I just ask. So why
Right.
would you go for someone to like maybe to ask your friends who probably never done a business, or some colleagues who also, even if they started, they don't have enough experience. They may give you wrong advice. Just go to someone who is good and then learn from them. Just really go deep into the materials, because the more successful a person is, the more they put out of there. They share a lot of knowledge. Even if you don't get to the courses, then you can watch a lot of materials online, read the books, they share everything. And then if you want to go deeper, then you can get the master groups or online courses, whatever you want. Sometimes I get to those, like when I learn photography, I assist to photographers. I went to some workshops in the US. I was in the Creative Life audience, and that was really helpful. But you need to know why you go there. It's not just for spending money, but you know that you learn a lot from the person that now you need to get more.
Yeah, that's a great advice. At the end, it's always about following people who already reach what you reached, what you want to reach, and listen from someone who is an expert. You shouldn't ask everyone. You should ask the experts to learn something new. It makes totally sense. And since you talked about your podcast, you started with a podcast and you were interviewing other people. How did you start it? And why did you think about a podcast and not anything else?
It's a very interesting question, because people usually go with the trends, and I went with the trends. Like I can write blog posts. I didn't know how to make podcasts. I don't know how to make videos, but I can write. I know that I can do this, and I can write well. And I started writing because when I closed my photography school, I took a break because that time I a little burned out. I closed it because the relationship between Russia and the US went not that good, and Russian currency dropped down. So kind of I live abroad, but I get paid less. I grow my audience, put a lot of effort, and in the end I got less money. So I took a break, and then I thought I like this, and I want to do it again. But
Mm-hmm.
then I had to start with the English audience because I don't live in Russia anymore. And that was challenging. I can write, but one thing is like, we're gonna talk to you and we will talk like friends, or I can write you an email. But when you put something on public and you're not native English speaker, or you have any other doubts in yourselves, you start nervous. It took me 2 months to hit publish button because I wasn't sure, like, will I get readers? Will I not have them? But there's the thing which I teach people when they start something. Start with what you feel comfortable with. Anything that you know very well, and go to the new thing. So my very first blog post, I knew that I'm going to write about business and marketing, but my very first blog post was about traveling. How good life is in Buenos Aires.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started writing more and more. But then I realized that I don't like writing. I can write a good guide, really detailed, people love it, but it takes me 1 week to write. I don't like it. And I was thinking about the podcasting for kind of procrastinating for a week. I'm sorry, for a year. And then I decided I need either do it or quit. There's no way to think about something for so long time. I know I was busy, I was working on my business, but then I got time. I'm like, you have to do it or you quit. No, the other options. And I decided I'm going to do it. So I dived deep there. I found the person who's good at this. I found John Lee Dumas. I got to his materials. I got to his course, to his group, to everything. I started there. And in a few months, I started a podcast. And that was really good. Even the start, it was very difficult, but it's so important to surround yourself with like-minded people. So when I got to the Facebook group, to John Lee Dumas' Facebook group, there's so many people like I was. They were starting out. Some of them had podcasts already, but they were very helpful and supportive. So even if you don't have someone right now around yourself, find communities online who can be with you and who can teach you and answer your questions. There's so many people who are ready to help.
That's a great advice. Find a community where there are people who can help you in the area you want to grow. That's great advice. And my experience was similar to yours because I'm not an English native language. Is not my language, English. And I started with a podcast as well. The first thing that I put out there wasn't my YouTube channel, but was a podcast. And I did it for the same exact reason, because I was afraid that my written English wasn't good enough. I'm good in writing as well, but in Italian. And when I started doing it in English, I wasn't enjoying it. I was thinking I was making too many grammar mistakes, too many errors. And so I decided, you know what? I'm going to try with podcasts, because I think that the errors I will do while speaking, they are less important than the one that I'm doing while I'm writing. And that's what I did the same. I started interviewing people and it went well. It was great. Since we're talking about podcasts, let's do a little detour on that. If someone wants to start a podcast as well in the audience that is watching this, what do you think this person should do? What are the first thing, like the most important thing that this person should do to start a podcast?
Pick a specific topic and narrow it down. It's a key of any businesses. When I do consulting on personal branding, it's the number one question we are talking about. Because everything else, all the marketing, will be dependent on this. If you pick a narrow enough niche, your marketing is going to be so easy. Just pick something which you're passionate about. If you don't know anything about the topic, but you want to do this, pick the one which you really like and you're ready to stick to for a long time. When I started a podcast, I said, I give myself 1 year. I don't expect any results at all. But in 1 year, I will decide if I'm going to continue or I will quit. What happened, people start anything and they expect the results so fast. And they don't get, and they leave. There's no point. 1 year is enough to see if you want to keep doing this, or you want to leave it. And it's also when you start it, you will see, are you going to stay with this topic? Are you going to narrow it down? Or you want to expand? Well, usually when you pick, people more often narrow down because they pick too broad area. Like, okay, I want to talk about fitness. Well, there's so many fitness specialists. Are you going to talk about the diets? Are you going to talk about the morning exercises? Who is your audience? Are you going to work with moms? Are you going to work with business people or fat people? Who's your audience? Once you know that, what's your niche? Niche is what you specialize in, and who's your audience, those people who you want to work with, then the rest will be much easier because you will know where they're located, what they read, what they listen, and where you can, like, to what podcasts you can go, to what magazines you can apply and appear there. It's much easier.
And what about the fear of starting a podcast in a saturated market where there are other podcasts, a lot of other podcasts, and you're afraid that what you're going to talk about, there is already something, there is a lot content about that thing. There are so many people that are already covering that topic. What about that? What would you suggest to this person who is afraid of starting a podcast in a saturated market?
Well, get back to your childhood and think about moms who sing a lullaby to their kids. They sing the same lullabies, but a kid reacts to the specific voice. There are a lot of content, a lot of people who talk about this, but maybe you can bring this topic with a new angle, and people will follow because of that. So many people can listen or read about blogging, let's say, but then they found someone who explained it so clear for them that they want to follow. They want to learn more because the way you communicate, it's completely different. Or maybe you give different examples. I'm reading a book now, and the author writes with a very difficult kind of way, but I want to read it because I don't have too many books about this in the market. But if there will be something else, I would switch because I want to learn about the topic.
Right.
And especially, like, let's say you're a foreigner and English is not your native language. It's even more interesting because you have a different background, you have a different point of view. And when you come talking about the same topic in English, you say it in a different way. You write it in a different way. Even the questions which you ask will be different. I got a feedback another day about my podcast episodes. A girl said, I've listened to several episodes and I've noticed that guests sometimes do not understand what exactly you're asking about. Because I have the same questions and you need to ask several times so they will completely cover the topic. And this is what you can do. And also get a little bit more specific with what you want to share with people.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's your tone of voice that makes something unique. It's not the content you're delivering. Because I think that almost everything you're going to talk about is already online, is already somewhere. Somebody else talked about that specific topic. Mm-hmm. And it's your tone of voice that make that exact piece of content unique. That's the specificity about yourself. It's not your content. It's the way you deliver it. It's the way you teach it. It's the way you talk about it. That's the difference that makes the difference between a coach and another coach, from a person or another person. And this is something that people usually don't get. They just think about the content, what's inside the content. The content should be the most relevant one, the most important one. They have to deliver these big secrets. But yeah, with the web, there are no secrets anymore. It's about yourself. It's about the point of view. It's about your voice. It's about your unicity.
Well, wait a little bit. I would say the content is important. But even there are a lot of content about the same topic, you can give a summary, which will be you went through several videos, through several articles, and you give your ideas. you share the same points which they share, but you put them together in one group. The content is important, but also how you present that content and how you deliver. These two components will help you to succeed in the more wide niche.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that as well. And apart from the content, okay, you have to deliver the content. You want to reach big audience. You want to talk with someone on the other side of the screen or in the other side of the speaker if you are on a podcast. But how can you reach these people? How can you become an influencer and talk to a wide range of people?
Okay. What do you want to be known for?
Well, let's say that, okay, let's put a specific example, right? Let's put a specific example of you creating a new podcast for online marketing. So that's what you did. But how do you promote this content? How do you promote this podcast in a way to reach the right people that are interested in your podcast and your topic? And how can you make people talk about it? That's what it's about, being an influencer, right? An influencer is someone that makes other people talk about it, himself or herself. That's what an influencer is. So how can you reach these people, and how can you reach the right people, and how can you make people talk about your content?
I'm glad you put it in that way. And this is the exact problem that many people face. The question is, what do you want to be known for? What specific area of expertise and for which audience? An influencer is a person who can impact the opinion or behavior of people because of his or her authority, knowledge, position, or an relationship with the audience. So there are two factors to become an influencer. One is what you specialize in and how you position yourself. Second is your audience. So we talked about this a little bit in the beginning. This is the foundation. Let's say you want to create the online marketing. Online marketing can be content marketing, email marketing, blogging, social media marketing. What specific do you want to focus on? Do you want to specialize in one of the topics, or you want to specialize in the audience? Where are you going to narrow down? If I talk about, let's say, marketing for creatives, I specialize my main marketing, creative people. And when I started with photographers because they are easy for me to reach. I know them upside down. I know what they think, how they feel, what they listen, and what they read. So I could even narrow it down more, marketing for photographers. I just wanted to change a little bit my niche and touch some other markets. But the better way probably would be marketing for photographers. And then, okay, so you talk about marketing, your audience are photographers. Then you think, where are they located? So I'm in China. And I don't target my podcast for Chinese people because there are different rules, different platforms. So I know that my audience is in North America and in Europe. Already you narrow down more. Then you go, okay, well, the bigger market, my biggest audience is in North America. So probably I living in China, can market myself through online content, focusing on the American market. And I would go with the podcasts which are working with the photographers. It's easiest way for me to get into, because I can share with you a lot of knowledge about photography. I can talk about photography, I can talk about branding, marketing, business stuff, anything, because I so good know this audience. To which audience you can get very quickly and easily. And this is the way, for example, if I want to reach the podcast for photographers, I just go and search podcasts for photographers, online magazines for photographers, workshops for photographers, conferences for photographers. The easy way to start. Once you get credibility, and if you pick a little more wide audience, let's say not photographers, but creative entrepreneurs, Well, I specify creative entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, small business owners, those people who usually work on their own or in the small team. So sometimes people pitch me uh, to be on the podcast and they work with the corporations or in B2B. I'm like, I'm sorry, that's not our audience. When you know that, you know when to say no. And also, like if I can talk with for entrepreneurs, give them branding or influencer tips or some marketing tips, I can go to small business podcasts, the podcast for entrepreneurs. I can go to similar media. Like find like when you define what you want to specialize in, you narrow your niche down, your audience, find how you can easily can gain credibility in the area you want to specialize in. So if you can go to photographers and get some media appearances there, perfect, go there. If you go to, if you're just familiar with, let's say, moms communities, go to moms. Like they have groups, they have workshops, they have their magazines. And then when you have this base, when you can go to higher media or a more wide area where before probably they would say like, oh no, who you are, we don't know you. But then you show them your credibility. They show that you've been there, you did this and this, and I have articles, I have what a podcast appearance, I have any speaking engagements, whatever. And then they will say yes. Just pitch them in the right way. And when you pitch someone, you don't come like, oh, hi, Lissandra, can you please feature me on your podcast? And I talk about, like I sell pacifiers for babies. And you'll be like, oh, no, that's completely not for my audience. This is what many people do. They don't know where they're going to. Search the magazines or podcasts, whatever, like media where you want to appear. Who is their audience? Do you match with them? Does your content match with them? Sometimes it can be a little bit different. Like you specialize, for example, in, I don't know, fitness, but you want to reach entrepreneurs because you want to work with, let's say, business people. So then you need to craft your content that will help entrepreneurs. And then if you are again in the fitness industry and then you want to work with moms, you need to craft your content the way you will help moms. So you need to know what their audience is and how you can better serve their audience. That way, more likely you'll get accepted. Or even if they say no, often it's just like, not right now. They don't need you this content right now. You can pitch them in half of the year. I had one magazine which I sent, it's a very big online magazine. I sent them my photos and I reached them a couple of times and they didn't even reply me. In 1 year, they sent me an email back. Okay, we're gonna publish it in a month. I'm like, wow, I even forgot about you. You see? That wasn't the right time. They needed content, they published it.
I'm glad you talked about your struggle and the fact that this magazine didn't reply to you for 1 year. So let's talk about this period, because when you start, it's not everything easy, and it will take you a long time to get successful and to get where you want to get. Let's talk about this period, the period that you're struggling, that you don't see results, when magazines are not even replying to you and other people are saying no to interviewing you. And this happened to you, I'm sure, has happened to me. How did you go on in this period? How did you stay motivated and you didn't give up?
You need to know your why you do what you do. And I tried it in different ways. I have my list, which some points I achieved, but some of them no. The thing is, when you have your list and you have your kind of big goal in mind, when you keep it in mind, it stays in mind. When you put it on a paper, you make it more clear. If you put it on a paper and you put it on the side and you get back in a few months, you forget what is your main goal. One of the really powerful way which I found for myself, do a morning routine, like very quickly. First you start, how do you feel today? Do you feel good? Do you feel bad? Do you feel so-so? And why it's important? Because when you feel good, you feel energized, you feel motivated, you feel like you want to do something. When you feel bad, this is the sign for you that you need to change something. Why do you feel bad? Do you feel bad because something, you had a quarrel with your parents last night, or with your spouse, with your kids? You feel bad because something happened in your work? You feel bad because you do not achieve your goal for a long time? So why is this happen? Or maybe you did not feel well. Maybe you did not sleep enough. You need to start monitoring that. Then the next step, what you can do to make yourself feel good or better than you are already. That's why you first work on your body, on your energy, on your inner motivation, and then when you do it for a certain period of time, you'll find out that often your negative things are quite regular. So you need to do something with this. And then you will find out which things which makes you feel more positive and happy and motivated. Then the next step, then you come to your goals. What is your main project for today? What is your main goal? Which are you going to work today? And here's a lot of people get lost. Check your emails is not your goal. Finish a website is not your goal. Get, let's say, $5,000 per month from my business. This is a little goal. Quit my job by the end of the year. This is a goal. So what is that big goal? Or maybe you want to go travel, or maybe you want to spend more time. How much time do you want to spend with your family? What is that big goal? Now, next step is why it is important to you. Always remember your why. This is what will keep you motivated every day. Let's say you want to have $5,000 per month. Why? Because I want to quit my job. This is my first step. Second, I want to invest more money in my business because I need money to grow my business when I'm just starting out. Third, I want to work for myself, so maybe I will have more time to spend with my family. So list all those points why you want to achieve these goals. There's always why. And when you feel like, I don't want to achieve this goal anymore, I cannot hit my $5,000. How can I think about $100,000 per month if I cannot hit even $5,000? Well, make it a little smaller. Try to hit $3,000 per month, or $2,000, or $1,000 this month, $2,000 next month, $3,000 and third month. So when you feel that you do not achieve your goal, make your goal a little smaller so you will have a quick win and you can you can take a next step to go to your bigger goal. So the last step, first you set what's your goal for today. For today, there can be several goals, like several big goals. Next one is why it's important to you. And the third one, what is one single step you can make today that will get you closer to that goal? People get so overwhelmed when they start, I want to start a business, I will need to hire someone, I need to rent the office, I will need a lot of money, and they don't start. And I don't know how to do, I want to start a YouTube channel, and I don't know how to edit my videos, how to grow my subscribers, I don't speak English well, I don't know what to ask, blah, blah, blah. There's so many excuses. Take a small step. What is one small step can you make to achieve your $5,000 per month today? Do you already have a business? Well, if you have some clients, reach out to your existing clients and offer some upsell, like maybe help in their services or offer your service again. If you don't have clients, maybe that one step will be go to the events and talk about your service, find a way to help people, not to sell, but to help people. Let's say 10 people. Your goal is not to sell. Your goal is go and talk to 10 people. Because if you say that I need to go and sell to 10 people, that's too high goal. Probably you'll be so much focused on like, I need to sell. People will just run away from you. A small goal, but every single day. This is how I started learning Chinese. In the very beginning, I came back from China and I thought I don't want to pay for a very beginner's course to learn the lines and phonics. So I learned by myself. 3 months I learned by myself, 4 months in the university. And Chinese is very difficult. You need to know the transcription, the character, the tone. I can say ma, 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 4 different words. For you, probably it's just like one ma. But there is like ma, 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 4 tones for these kind of words. It's so crazy. So
But you did it. You did it.
Yeah, but I did it. That's the point. Small step, 15 minutes a day, every single day. Small step.
And if I can add something to that, I would say that, as you said, every single day you need to find something that you need to do to grow your business, to go towards your goal. And I would suggest even to, at the end of the day, to think about what you did during the day to reach your goal. Did you do at least one thing? So review your day, see what did you do today to get closer to your goal. Think in the morning what you have to do through the day, and think at the evening if you actually did something to get closer to your goal. This is something that helps you to stay motivated along the process and find a little win every single day, even if your goal is really far. Your big goal is really far. But get a little win every single day. This helps you to get on, to keep going on and not give up during the process. But going back to what you said about concrete things, like I want to grow an online business, but I know that at the beginning I need something to invest. I need money to invest in my business because it's not for free. You're gonna have expenses that you have to cover. I'm gonna ask you a private question about your business. So feel free to reply or not reply, but it's private about your business. What you do right now to create profit, to reinvest in your business?
Well, I get profit from my photography business, so I still do photography. This is my main income. But for those who are thinking, I need money to start a business, to invest, I would ask, what do you need money for? What do you need money for? People get stuck. I need money, but they don't know what they need it for. If you want to start an online business, a lot of times you don't need money. Start writing. You need to just start doing something and then see the results. You think too much. You're going to spend a lot of money on what? Courses? Learn for free. Pay for hosting? That's not a big amount of money to really concentrate. I need to make money to pay for my hosting. WordPress is free. Podcasting? There are also a lot of courses. This interview, you just connect with someone. This is free. Well, I don't know if you pay for the service which you use for recording. I paid for mine, but you pay like once or like some money for that. It's not so much. Even when I had my online photography school, which is like it was online business, and I created courses there. I created DVD. You record on your computer, use the tools which you have. It's free. Like there are so many free tools. Like you need a design, use Canva. You need recordings, Audacity. Simple thing. They work for Mac and PC. You need, what else do you need? Writing for free. Oh, you will need to, if you do a podcast, you need to upload to the hosting. Well, you pay some money. It needs a little bit of investment, but I would even recommend do not invest too much unless you know what you're doing. Otherwise, you're wasting money.
Definitely. And you know, this problem comes from the fact that people look at someone who is already on the top. If I want to become successful in my business, in my online business, I look at people that are super successful right now. And they are doing a lot of different things, like they're doing webinars, they have online courses, they have many things that are going on in their business. And I think that I have to start at their final point. I have to start right now with what they have right now. And you don't know that they reached that point after years and years and years. And when they started at the beginning, as you said, they started maybe just with a blog, maybe just with a podcast, and maybe they didn't invest money. They just started with the free stuff. And then time after time, they were growing, and the bigger was becoming their business, the more they were investing in new things, in new tools. The thing is that to grow an online business, you can invest in so many things. So many things. There are small things, big things. There are a lot of investments that you can do. But as you said, and I totally agree with that, start with the free stuff. There are so many things that are free, and they're enough to start. You don't have to start as the people that you're looking at online, because it's impossible. It's impossible. You don't see their struggle, but it took them years and years to reach that point. So I totally agree. Just start with the basic things. Start and go and grow. Go through the ladder and grow little by little, and then when you will get some revenue, you will invest in something else that will make your business grow. So totally agree with you. Absolutely agree with you. All right, Marina, before we wrap it up, give me your final advice. You were talking about someone who is starting right now with free stuff, freebie tools. So give me a few advice that you will give to someone who wants to start right now. This person comes to you and asks you, Marina, I want to start right now. Can you give me three things that I have to do right now to start, just to start? What would you say?
Okay, well, the first thing, what do you want to be known for? What do you want to focus on? Your niche and your audience. You need to be clear with that. It's very important. The second step, if you're starting completely from zero or you just have a little bit of experience, you need to build your credibility. You need to show people that you bring value. If you're an expert in the topic, then that can be you sharing your knowledge. If you're not an expert in that, find influencers in your niche and get this information from them. Now, if you create something like, let's say, a photographer, where we don't have the information and you want to promote your photography service, or like hairstylist, where it's not about the content exactly, not the text, not the interviews mostly, but like more about the look, find influencers in your community and do the work for them for free. The higher the person, the better. What happened there? And it's better you put it in the project. Okay, I'm starting out and I want to, let's say, work with 10 people, 10 influencers in my town. So that can be either your service you offer or the interview. 2 easy ways to get in touch with people. And you come with them as a project. It's not like, Alessandra, I'm building my portfolio and I want to photograph you, and I've never actually done pictures before, but I can photograph you for free. I'll do it for free. So maybe you will say yes, but more likely, if you're a more influential person, you'll say not right now.
Mm-hmm.
But when you come and say, Alessandra, I'm working on the project and I interview best online marketers in my town. And I really love your content and really love your work. And I would like to interview you. And as a gift for you, I would like to photograph you. Would you like to be in? What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. That's the way to
Definitely.
start. Yeah,
And
and
then
yep.
you put this together, you put all 10 people together, and even you need to start with someone. When you have one name, then when you reach the next person, you say, "We already done with this person. You can see what we've got." You can create kind of the draft, or if you have pictures, it's a picture to show another person. And there are more chances that another person will say yes. When you have 10 of them, you create it as a project. Well, you get there, if you didn't work, you get testimonials from them. If you got interviews, you can put them on your blog, you can split to social media posts, you can reach out to media and offer to publish the article. 10 best tips from, or 10 advice from best marketers in London or wherever you are. And probably they will publish it. You see, you got credibility, you got free portfolio, you got good connections. If they like your work, they will more likely promote it. Just share maybe on social media. And then you can get media appearance with one simple project. This is a fast way to start. So your next step will be the third one. Just try to get these media appearances when you finish with this project.
Definitely. It's a way to grow your portfolio, grow testimonials, and at the same time, it's a great way to grow yourself, your skills. It's great. You're starting working with someone, and you can learn new things. You can exercise on what you want to learn. So it's a great advice. All right, Marina, thank you very much for being guest in the show. And if you want, I already put your website below your face. But if you want to talk about other ways to reach you, feel free.
Well, you can find me anywhere online as Marina Barayeva. My website is marinabarayeva.com and connect with me on Instagram. There we have more personal conversation. And if you want to get more media appearances and get featured on the podcasts, easy way for you because podcasts are very popular. And when you know your niche, you can easily get there. So you can go to marinabarayeva.com/podcast guest. There we will get a guide and detailed step-by-step process how you can find the podcast, how to pitch guests, and how to get these media appearances.
Nice. And guys, wherever you are watching this, if you are on YouTube or Facebook or you're listening to this, feel free to, well, share this episode if you want with anyone you want. And if you have any question, any feedback, write in the comments. And I'm sure Marina will reply to questions that will come up in the future. So feel free to share, comment, put a feedback, put a question. All right, Marina, thank you again for being on the show. And I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Alexandra. It was